Good afternoon. Welcome to my kitchen. You are in my kitchen live. This is the Queen's Curry Kitchen. I am Nupur, Chef Nupur, owner of Queen's Curry Kitchen, a meal delivery service right here in Queens, New York. I am also a culinary instructor, so I love to teach Indian cooking. I love to simplify cooking, and that's what I'm gonna do here today on the live. There was a lot of things that I was doing in my kitchen, so I thought I should bring you guys in and make you a part of the action. So first things first, we are going to be doing corn on the cob in the air fryer. I'm hoping that by the time this live finishes, we will be able to see what we've made. So this is the season where there's corn in abundance, and sometimes you don't want to be able, you can't grill. I also live in an apartment, so I don't really have a backyard where I can grill whenever I want to. So I'm gonna do it right here in my apartment, and I'm gonna use the air fryer. I have a phobia of the oven, so I'm a baker-phobe and an oven-phobe, so the air fryer is like the perfect thing for me. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Hello to everyone that's tuning in. If you are new to this page, just make sure this is not the last time you're here. Take a follow so that you'll stay abreast of all the notifications whenever I'm gonna go live. You'll know about it, okay? So I just cleaned and washed these, all the hairs that are sticking out. Just gonna give it a quick wipe down. What I'm gonna do is I'm making some taco flavored corn. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm just gonna do it because I feel like it, right? So welcome, welcome. After this, I'm going to make a Chana Masala, and I will make Pooris. That's a very traditional Indian thing. And also because I have to, it's time for my smoothie, so I'm gonna make that, and I will tell you exactly what all I put in it. Okay, hello, hello, Drew. Oh, Drew is from Kansas. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining in from. Hi there. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my corn on the cob, and I will, you can also do it in smaller pieces. You don't have to do such large chunks. Okay, so I'm going to do this with spray. What you can do is, if you're not watching your calories, you can actually do both processes with butter. What I'm going to do is I will spray it first with cooking spray, and then when it comes out of the air fryer, I will do butter. I'll slather it with seasoned butter or something, or butter and lemon juice and cilantro or something like that, right? So just giving it a quick wipe down. I think my hands are sticky, not the can. Alrighty, so let's get started. This is what I'm gonna do. I'll just quickly spray these down. Welcome, welcome to everyone that's joining in. If you love corn, give me a thumbs up in the comments. Show me some hearts if corn is your absolute favorite. I love corn in every possible way. I love it in soups. I love it in salads. I love it boiled. I love it fried. I even like corn fritters. So if you want to see one of the corn fritter recipes, one of these days, I should do that for you as well. Okay. Now I'm going to do, this is taco seasoning, just a good old packet of taco seasoning that you get in any supermarket, right? So I've sprayed the corn. This is taco seasoning. I'm going to add some lemon juice to this taco seasoning and a little bit of oil to just help it to stick better. You can also add some kind of sour cream or whatever just to make it sticky. Hello, Kamleshji, how are you? It's lovely to see you in my kitchen. Thank you for choosing to spend this time with me. If you like this spicy, you can also add something like a hot sauce or whatever. But I feel like in the first time that you're grilling it or air frying it, you really don't need to add very complicated flavors. Just get the texture correctly. And then once it comes out, you can slather it, whatever. I saw someone who actually did honey butter. Oh my God, I cannot wait to try that. So he did like a Cajun version, and then he did honey butter. That would be nice, right? So get it almost like a pasty consistency. And then we are going to take them one by one right here. Hello, yeah, show some love. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Yes, tap the screen, show some love. I know y'all want me to come live very often, but I just wasn't able to do that. Past few months were just crazy with my schedule, but I promise to do more live videos now. My schedule is eased up a little bit, and also my mom will be visiting, so we'll be able to do a lot of videos together from this kitchen. I know you'll always enjoy that whenever I cook with my mom and I do like a live video. So I've just sprayed the parchment right here, okay? So this is how, just brush it on. If you want to do it with your hands, that's totally fine. On to the next one. I'm just trying to keep it as basic and as simple as possible. Now, taco seasoning already has salt to it, so you don't really have to add any salt or pepper or anything. I only added a little bit of lime juice because I feel like it just goes all the way inside. You can use fresh or bottled like I've used, or then you can just rub some lime or lemon on it when it comes out of the oven or out of the air fryer. Okay, so if you're grilling and you have a backyard or you have a barbecue that you're going to, hey, this is a great recipe for the vegans in your group, for the vegetarians, for the children, for someone who's grain free, that doesn't eat tacos. Like, make them taco seasoning corn or something, right? So this would be a great recipe for everybody. You can put as little or as much as you want. Of course, once it comes out, you'll have to calibrate if you need more or less. So the temperature for making these will be 375 degrees in the air fryer. And we'll go down for about 12 to 13 minutes. So at the 6-minute mark, we shall give them a flip to make sure that they're cooking evenly. My air fryer is actually kind of behind the camera, so I will get it in there, and then I guess I'll have to keep my eye on the clock, and when it gets to that midway mark, I will go back and grab it to show you what it looks like. And of course, then when it's done, I will also show you that. Okay, so not to overcrowd anything. I think mine is a little overcrowded. Let me just quickly wash my hands. I think mine is a little bit overcrowded, but hey, you know what? This is what we have, right? So just gonna go ahead and clean this out, whatever's left of it. I just added a little water to the bowl. I don't like to waste anything. And also a little moisture doesn't hurt. It helps to create some steam. That's cool, right? So this guy needs a rinse. So I'm just doing the non-stove top things first, and then I'll get to the cooking the chana, and I'll also make the dough for the puris, which is something that a lot of you have asked me. So I'll show you what I put in the dough. I'm not going to do the basic dough. I'll tell you what the basic dough is about, but I'll also show you the variations that I do to make my puris more flavorful, so that if you're traveling or you just want to eat a puri with your chai, then what are the seasoning that you can put. Okay, so this is done. I'm going to take this over behind the camera to 375. Oh, thank you for the roses and hearts. I appreciate that. That's really sweet of you guys. Okay, so this is going to go in for 375 at 12 minutes, and then I will be back and I'll give you an update. We'll start doing other things in the meantime. Okay, 375, and the timer is set for 12 minutes. Start. Okay, done. All right, now is the time to drink a smoothie. Today is not a chai kind of day for me because it's just super duper hot. So I'll just share with you what all I put in my smoothie. I'll try to make it as power packed as possible. There's nothing Indian about it. It's just a version that I came up with over time, and it's something that I can live with. So I just do it this way. If you have any other things that you add to your smoothies, you know, one of the strongest revelations or like the light bulb moments for me when I started to kind of explore smoothies was that I realized that not all smoothies have to have dairy. I realized that not all smoothies have to have milk. Not all smoothies have to have orange juice. Not all smoothies have to have yogurt or whatever, right? I never realized that until there were light bulb moments along the way. So I have a friend who actually makes her smoothies with coconut water. I have another friend who makes her smoothies with green tea. So she brews the green tea, and then she takes out the tea bag. She allows the green tea to chill and cool, and then she adds that as a liquid of choice to her smoothies. And it's great because you get the antioxidant benefits without any calories, and I think that's a really genius idea, right? So what I'm going to use today is I have some frozen mango and pineapple, which is right here, right? I bought the bag from Aldi. I have a fresh banana that I've used. Then I'm gonna go ahead and use some. So whatever I'm using so far is really not rocket science. It's not something unusual. gonna go ahead and add some strawberries, right? And I really don't like cold breakfasts. I'm really a person that loves warm breakfasts, but today is just such a hot day. I don't feel like having chai, so I might have chai as my mid-afternoon or after my meal or something, but not right now. Now I'm going to show you all the things that I add to my smoothie just to make it more nutritious. I definitely am going to add some chia seeds. Let me know what are the things that you guys add to your smoothies, because maybe I'm missing something. I am going to add some moringa powder, which is the powder of the drumstick leaves, right? It's called moringa. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add some ground flax seeds. Trust me, like the fruits are so flavorful, you won't even taste anything. And I've heard somewhere and read somewhere that you have to grind them in order for them to work. So don't put whole flax seeds into anything. It's not a good idea. Then I have amla, which is gooseberry powder. These are all from the Indian grocery store. This has more vitamin C than an entire orange. That's 300% vitamin C. So I'm going to use this. And then I'm going to use this, which is beets powder. It's kind of like an antioxidant. It's really good for your blood. I'm going to add this. So I don't drink smoothies often, but there was a time when I would do smoothies every single day. And these are all the things that I would put in it. I also sometimes put basil, depending on whatever I'm in the mood for, whatever is close at hand. So definitely chia seeds. You have to have at least 1.5 tablespoons of chia seeds twice a day. That's the recommended thing in order for it to do anything. So literally right behind me at that counter, I have all of these lined up. The thing that I have the least appetite for is amla. So I only put about less than half a teaspoon. I don't enjoy it. It's just too sour. But it's necessary, so I do it. Then I have my beets powder. A little bit goes a long way. I don't use a lot. But I also don't eat beets on the daily, so it's good that it's available in powder form. What are some of the things that you guys put in your smoothies? You want to drop them in the comments? I'd love to hear what you guys do with your smoothies. This is my flax. I'm just going to add 1.5 teaspoons. Let's see. And then I have my moringa powder, which is a very superfood. You see, I'm just adding a little bit because I don't want to taste all these things. I really just want to taste the fruit. Some people also add like spinach and stuff. It's totally your preference. You can make it whatever you want to make it. Now it's time to add some water to this. If you're like my friend and you want to add green tea or coconut water or whatever, feel free to do that. Just going to add a little bit. Some people like to add ice. I don't like it iced. Just like, it's cold already because the pineapple and the mango is frozen. And you can go in with a stick blender. You can also do it in a regular blender. Sorry for the noise. It really goes very quickly. And then depending on how thick or how runny you want it, you can always add or reduce the amount of liquid you're putting in. Also, if you don't have enough strawberries in your fridge, you can always add the beets powder to give the illusion of strawberries and trick your kids and tell them, hey, I made strawberry smoothies, you want? So yeah, you can definitely trick your children to think like that. I'm going to add a little more water to it because I think it's just too thick for me. I don't like anything to be thick. And also, once you've made it, don't let it sit too much because the chia seeds are going to get to work and it's going to make it very thick. So you don't want that to happen. What, has it been 6 minutes already? Oh yeah, we're at the halfway mark. So I'm just going to bring it out and I will show you what it looks like, and then we're going to give it a good flip. So the smoothie is ready. I'm going to drink this. Cheers, you guys. Let me grab the corn and show you what it looks like midway. Oh, my kitchen smells incredible. I feel like I've come to this barbecue and somebody's making tacos on the grill or something. So you can see the color is starting to happen, and you can see the sides are starting to crisp up. So we're just going to carefully flip this over. It's a little bit wet at the bottom, so you know that it's working, right? All the moisture is coming out of it. And it's already quite hot. So we definitely want to flip it over. Give this little guy another flip. Okay. Alrighty. So this is going to go back into the air fryer for another 6 minutes. Okay, and that's gonna keep doing its thing. Now we're gonna jump to the next recipe, which is called Chana Masala, which is a very popular Indian breakfast dish. I'm actually making it for dinner, so there is such a thing called breakfast for dinner, right? It's basically nothing but chickpeas that are made with a combination of spices and herbs. So what I've done is I've actually boiled my chickpeas the night before, and you can see they're nice and dark. And you're like, why are they dark like this? Okay, so the reason they're dark is because when I boiled them, I put in a tea bag to give it this dark color, right? It has salt, it has a tea bag, regular tea, English breakfast, and I added a pinch of baking soda. Now, you're gonna ask, why do we need baking soda and tea bag in chickpeas, right? For right now, raspberry, I only used salt, nothing else. Are you talking about the corn on the cob, or are you talking about the chickpeas? Let me know in the comments, okay? Alright, so I'll tell you the reason why we add baking soda and tea bags to our chickpeas. So chickpeas usually are very dry. When you add baking soda and tea bags, what happens is it helps the chickpea to open up, and it helps the salt to go inside. So baking soda is an alkaline, and tea bags have tannin, which is an acid. So the acid and alkaline combination goes in, and it helps all of the seasonings to penetrate your chickpeas. So whenever you make chana masala, whenever you make any kind of whole beans, if you add a little bit of baking soda, it helps to do that. Especially with tea bags and baking soda, it's a great combination. So it's traditionally done that way in a lot of Indian homes. Okay, so yeah, raspberry, just let me know if you were asking about the seasonings in the corn on the cob, or are you talking about the seasonings in the chana masala? Okay, so we're going to use a very simple tempering. I'm going to use some onions. I have some ginger juliennes, which I'm going to use. Then I have some fresh tomatoes, and I have some tomato puree. I'm going to use that, right? But before I do anything, I will show you a technique that's done as the first step when you want to make authentic chana masala, right? So basically, you get yourself and this is a secret that no one will tell you. It's actually more of like a street food chana masala secret. Like, how do they get all that flavor in there, right? So you take a bowl and spread all your chickpeas out, right? Now, over these chickpeas, you are going to add coriander seed powder. So this is my masala box, right? Everything is in the masala box, pretty much whatever I'm adding. Coriander seed powder, paprika or cayenne pepper, whatever you like. Give it a good coating, right? This is just raw spices that I'm adding. Then you're going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt. You're also going to go ahead and add this, which is dry fenugreek herbs, which is called kasuri methi. This is a very typical Indian sort of Persian herb that is used to give a lot of earthy flavor to our food, right? We're going to add this, and we're going to heat up some ghee. If you're trying to get the authentic flavor of chana masala that's sold on the streets of India, you have to work with ghee. Also on top goes pomegranate seed powder. If you don't have that, you can always buy pomegranate seeds and then grind them in your coffee grinder. It comes out pretty fine. So I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to sprinkle this. So the combination of the ghee and the pomegranate seed powder basically gives it that tartness from the pomegranate seed powder and the depth of flavor from the ghee. Okay, so this is ready. I'm just going to let it sit on the side, and then I'm going to warm up some ghee in here. Now the idea is that we want to create a sizzle with this ghee, and we want to sizzle all of these spices that we have just added, right? So if you're doing pani puri and you want to do a dry chana, you can always use this recipe and stop it at that. You don't have to make a separate tempering, which is going to be my next step, right? This step should be enough for you if you're trying to do chana masala for your pani puris, or you're trying to do a filling for your chaats. This should be more than enough, right? Okay. So this needs to heat up really nicely. These are my chickpeas. I boiled them with salt, a tea bag, and some baking soda. Any questions so far? You have any questions about what we're making? Anybody that's just new, make sure you follow the page and send us some love. So you can see this ghee is now smoking. You see how the smoke is coming out? I'm going to turn this off. Bring yourselves a lid, because we are going to need to cover this as soon as we hit the hot oil onto here. Okay, I hope you can see. You're going to take this and you'll put this hot sizzling oil, ghee, and you see how the spices just sizzle up? Can you hear that? You hear that, right? So put all of that ghee in there, and then put the cover on it, and then set it aside. So this splash frying of the spices under the ghee actually enhances the taste of the chana. We're going to bring it back and add it back to the tempering in a bit. Let's just start with the tempering. So more ghee goes in. Arya Rohit, welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. No, I did not burn it. It's not burnt. It's got a tea bag in it. That's why it's black. Okay. I just use a regular English breakfast tea bag. Any kind of black tea that you have, just use a tea bag like that. If you don't have tea in a bag and you have loose leaf tea, then just use a piece of muslin fabric, make a little poultice out of it, and stick it in the pot in which you're boiling your chana. Okay, so the first thing that goes in is the cumin seeds. We're going to put that in. This is a masala box. You can get this on my website. Queen's Curry Kitchen has everything. All of the spices are included. You can buy it with or without the spices. You'll get the dry fenugreek herb. You will get the coriander seed powder. You'll get the cumin. You'll get the turmeric. You will get Indian paprika. You will also get the Punjabi masala, and you will also get garam masala. So I don't give you salt, because salt everybody has. I feel like if this is prime real estate, I put the homemade garam masala in there. So you can head over to the website queenscurrykitchen.com. If you don't want to leave the live, you can always just send me a DM and just hit send a link to the website or whatever. I will put it. The link to the website should also be up in the link in my bio. Okay, so I'm gonna add onions. Now I'm not making this very heavy on the onions. Usually chana masala gets a lot more onions than it gets tomatoes. But I'm just trying to keep it very balanced. I'm not trying to make it very heavy. It is a breakfast dish, but we're going to serve it at night. So I don't want it to be super heavy. So I'm here enjoying my smoothie. And I'm telling you, I cannot even taste the moringa. I cannot taste the flax. I cannot taste the chia. I can't taste anything. All I taste is the pineapple, and I'm tasting the mangoes, the strawberry, the banana. I'm tasting all of that. Okay, now in goes ginger juliennes. This is critical to the taste of the street style chana masala. They always add this in generous proportions. Also, ginger is a great anti-inflammatory. So if you want to start your morning with like a protein packed breakfast, which is going to be chana, and it's high carbs because you're going to be frying the puri, you definitely want to put in all the elements that are going to keep you full. And mostly this is for people who work, have a lot of physical labor. They're going to go out work in the fields. So street food chana masala is really sold early in the mornings to all the daily workers who work, the labor jobs, who work very physical in physical labor fields, jobs that require a lot of physical labor. So this is like the perfect breakfast for them, right? I'm just going to saute this till it's brown. My air fryer just beeped, which means that our corn on the cob is done. I'm going to go grab that and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Hang in there. Let me grab the corn on the cob. It smells freaking incredible. I feel like it could be a little more crisp, but the way to test is we can actually take a knife and see if it's soft enough. I'm not seeing any charring actually so far. These are fully cooked, yes. But I'm not seeing any charring, so I think I'm going to put it in for like another 3 minutes or so to really give it that nice charred flavor. Okay, so I'm going to stick it back in there and I'm going to do that. You stay with me, don't go anywhere. Let's just do this project. I'm going to bring the time down to another 3 minutes and I've hit the start button. Okay, so in the time that it takes us to make this chana today, I will also make the dough for the puris, and we will make a masala puri dough. So you will know exactly how you can make your puris flavorful. It doesn't have to be bland. It doesn't have to be just salt and pepper. I will add some other things that are going to make it really delicious. So we will fry out these onions till they are nice and brown. Thank you for joining the mailing list. There is a chana masala download on my website. So if you're heading over to the website, just put down your mailing list. The free chana masala recipe is going to come to your inbox. That recipe does not involve any onions or garlic. So if you have those dietary restrictions, then it's a perfect recipe for you. Okay. Now I'm going to jump into making the dough for the puris. And usually chana is either eaten with bhatura, which is almost like it's like a fried bread, and the dough of that resembles the texture of pizza dough. Or then it's eaten with puris, which is an unleavened dough made just a few minutes before it's ready to fry. There's no leavening. So I'm going to start out with whole wheat flour. You can make this with refined flour. You can make this with all-purpose flour. Whatever rocks your boat, whatever your family loves, just make it with that. Okay, so I'm going to add some whole wheat flour to this. So typically different families have different puri recipes. Sometimes it's just salt and pepper. Sometimes it's nothing. It's just dough, flour and water. Different families have different puri recipes. So I'm basically going to use maybe a 1.5 scoops of this. I'll put it away. Keep an eye on the onions, you guys. Where is everybody tuning in from? Let me know. How many people actually have had chana masala, or have had chana and puri, or have traveled to India or Pakistan or Bangladesh and they actually know the concept of this chole puri breakfast or chole bhature breakfast, right? Anybody in the audience who's done that? I'd love to hear. I'd love to know. Okay, so now this is frying beautifully. Before I get my hands into the dough, what I'm going to do is I am also going to add some carom seeds. This is called ajwain in Hindi. And it almost resembles, the taste of it is very similar to oregano, right? So if oregano had a seed, it might have been ajwain. So the pindi chole, which is actually served on the streets, The easiest version of it doesn't even involve onions. It just involves ginger, carom seeds, cumin seeds, some dry mango powder, and that's about it, right? So they try to keep it very simple on the street front. I'm gonna go ahead and add fresh tomatoes. One trick with tomatoes, as soon as you add tomatoes, always add salt to help them to break down and to draw out all the flavors, right? So here you go. Add the tomatoes. To this I'm gonna also add a little bit of the tomato puree for the color and for the tartness. Let's do that. Okay. And this will continue to saute. So this is called a basic tempering that I'm creating. She's in Oregon, but originally from Brooklyn. Oh my God! Yay, Naima! Go Brooklyn! Brooklyn's in the house. How many years ago did you move to Oregon? Do you like it over there? Marcia, hello, hello, and welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to keep sauteing this. Right? There is a special masala that goes into making chickpeas, and it's called Chana Masala. It's available in any Indian grocery store. It's just called Chana Masala, and it's a powdered spice that looks like this. Right? And it pretty much has all the notes of ginger, black salt, pink salt, dry mango powder, pomegranate powder. It literally has that already done and calibrated for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some Chana Masala to this. Give it a good stir. And if you feel like your tomatoes are not breaking down, just smash it down with the back of your spatula to help it along a little bit. Add a little bit of water so that your spices don't burn. And sometimes you may need to add water if your tomatoes are a little dry. If your tomatoes are super watery, then you don't need that external help. I've added some coriander seed powder to this. I'm going to continue to keep stirring this. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 13 years. Wow, and she loves it. Okay, great. Good for you, Naima. I'm happy that you live in a place that you absolutely love. This is our kasuri methi or dry fenugreek herbs. Whenever you add that to a dish, always crush it between your palms, because the warmth of your palm will actually help to release a lot of the oils, and it's going to make it super aromatic. So we definitely want that. I'm going to go bring some water for this. So we are going to add a little bit of water after we added our powdered spices, because we don't want the powdered spices to burn, okay? So that's something that you have to remember. If you feel like your spices tend to burn or your food has a burnt flavor, why is that happening? It's happening because you have not enough liquid for the spices to bloom, and that's why they tend to burn, right? So just keep smashing this with the back of your spatula. One secret ingredient that I like to always add in my chana is, yes, it's very similar to Nepalese cooking. There's a lot of common threads of cooking and a lot of common ingredients in the subcontinent. So India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, we have a lot of common dishes as well. I like to add a little pinch of clove powder. You can add fresh cloves as well. When you boil your chana, you can add the fresh clove to give it that nice flavor. I like to add a little bit of clove powder to give it the depth of flavor. You can also add a little nutmeg or cinnamon powder. Okay, so just smash this with the back of your spoon. It's going to keep going. We have to build the flavor as we go. Ha! Oh, all the time eaten in Jackson Heights. That's really cool. Amir is saying that he's 25 years old and learning all my family dishes so I can pass it to my kids. You know, that's really cool. That was actually one of the reasons why I started to document a lot of the food that I was making, because I just figured, hey, when I'm dead and gone, my kid will not even know that most of the things that they ate, like, how did mom make this, right? Hello, Rina. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. I'm going to go ahead and add some cilantro. Now, do you remember the chickpeas that we had set on the side after putting ghee on them? You remember those? It's time to bring those back. This needs just a couple of minutes more. We have to wait for all of the water to evaporate. Now, whenever you're making a tempering or you're cooking any Indian food, and you're not sure whether the next step is this is the right time or not the right time, the best way to find out is that whatever you're cooking in the pan is actually going to start leaving the sides of the pan. And it's going to actually start coming together. Plus, it will release a lot of oil. So that's how you know that it's time for the next step. If you want your tomatoes and onions to break down a little bit better, you can always cover it for a brief few seconds. Let me help it to do that. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how to season our flour so we can make masala puris. So I find even as a kid, I've always found regular puris to be goddamn boring. I don't like boring anything. So I always like to season my puris. And in that, what I add is, I'm going to add some salt. I'm using sea salt. You can use Himalayan pink salt, whatever kind of salt. I'm going to add a little paprika because I love the little red dots of color. I'm going to add a little coriander powder. I will add whole cumin seeds. Now, if you order the masala box on my website, you will get these cumin seeds. It comes with, and I'm also going to add some carom seeds because these are my absolute favorite. If you don't have carom, just even if you have one of these seeds added, it adds a really nice taste and a texture to it. Also, if you have any leftover dough, you can actually just make the puris and eat it with your chai in the evening. I'm going to add a little bit of dry fenugreek herbs. They give it a nice flavor. And I'm going to add, just because I have a part Bengali heritage, I'm going to go ahead and add some nigella seeds. You see these? These are called nigella seeds or kalonji or onion seeds, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to go ahead and add that right in here. Okay? That's what we do. And then, let me bring your attention back to this. Now, just because I covered it, you can see that the oil has actually started getting released from this paste that we created. Right? So when that happens, you know that your food or your curry or whatever you're cooking is ready for the next step. So now is the perfect time to bring back the chickpeas that we had actually just sizzled with the spices. This is the perfect time. Before you do that, just give it a gentle toss. Right? Just toss it together. You can also go in with a spoon and just give it a good toss and then throw all of that in here. Right? So this is exactly how they do it on the streets. Another thing that they do on the streets of India is that they will take a few chickpeas from here and they'll take a boiled potato and run that in the blender, right? And then they use that to thicken the gravy or the sauce. You can absolutely do that. It's a way of, economizing the food because you get more mileage from potatoes than chickpeas. Potatoes are cheap, chickpeas are a little more expensive. So that's what they do on the street. You can just take some of your chickpeas and you can run them in the blender. Also, if you are using canned chickpeas, you can just take out some of them, drain them, and run those in the blender to create that thick sauce. Okay, you can do that. Now, I'm just going to allow this to boil. You can make it as thick or thin as you want. Just remember that chickpeas actually thicken over time because they do get gelatinous. So I'm just going to allow this to simmer and come to a boil. In the meantime, we are going to work on the dough for the puris. Okay, so let me just position this nicely. Okay, so these are all the seasonings that I've added, right? Now I'm going to go over some puri making techniques 101. Puri is nothing but fried bread. Yes, Sabby, I actually pressure cook. These are fresh chickpeas, not canned. I actually soaked them overnight and then I pressure cooked them with a tea bag and baking soda. So that's what I did, which is why they're dark brown in color, because usually they're of a yellowish, pinkish tone. Okay, so now Puri Basics 101, how do you get the dough right? Don't just make the dough with water. The first thing that you need to do in any fried bread is to get the oil into the flour. And I'll tell you the reason why we do that. So just a couple of squirts of oil or ghee, whatever you have. It's almost like creating a short crust, right? So if you're a baker, you know this. When you get the oil in there, you go in with your fingers and you just crumble up the entire flour so that it gets coated with the oil homogeneously, right? That's just how you do it. No rocket science. And the reason for doing that is that if your flour and your dough has enough oil, when you actually fry the puris, it's not going to soak up the oil and stick to the body of the puri, right? So that's always the best thing to do, to put oil. This is called adding moyen. That's the name of this technique. It's called moyen. And you know you have enough when you can actually bind it and it holds its shape. There's no water. I haven't added anything. I've just added a little bit of oil so far, right? So just a little bit more. I'm gonna work this dough. It's almost like creating a short crust for pastry. Okay, so you're gonna do that. And then we're going to gradually add water and knead this dough. Just gonna bring back this board for stability. And I'm gonna add the water slowly. So for puris, the dough has to be quite tight. It's not like rotis. It shouldn't be a very fluid dough. It has to be tight, but it has to still be pliable. So always add water slowly. Depending on the brand of flour that you're using, you may need less or more. But just remember, the dough has to be tight. And you're going to add water slowly. You're going to gather it together. You're going to gather it, pinch it, roll it. All right, for everybody that's sending hearts on TikTok, I really appreciate that. For everybody that just sent me a bunch of stars on Facebook, I really, really appreciate that. It helps me to keep making the content that I love to make. All right, so we're just going to keep kneading this. And basically, you go in and you go in with the heel of your palm. And then you press it in. So it starts to gather itself into some kind of a shape, right? It's almost like playing with Play-Doh. Except that you have to make that consistency from a powder and a water, which is the flour is a powder texture and water is the liquid. So you basically have to create your own pliable little Play-Doh situation. Okay, so any questions so far? Anybody wants to drop a comment or say anything about puris? Have you been to Indian restaurants and eaten puris? What is the difference between puri and... Okay, all right. So the difference between puri and bhatura is that a bhatura is made out of leavened flour. So you have to either put yeast in it or you have to knead the dough with yogurt and then allow the dough to rise, and then only you can make bhaturas. Whereas a puri is just unleavened. So I'm just going to make this dough and we're going to start frying them right away. We're not going to wait that long. Okay, so you can see it's coming together. Now, how will you know if your dough is ready? The way you'll know it is that your hands will be clean and the pan will be clean. So just because I have a few crumbles here, that means I'm not quite there yet. So just take your water a little bit, sprinkle it around. Less is more. You cannot take away the water once you've added it to your puri dough, but you can always add a little at a time. Oh, the chickpeas smell incredible in my kitchen right now. I wish you were here, then you could smell it. It smells really, really nice. Okay, so now this is the dough that I've made for the puris. And you can see I'm going in with my knuckles and pressing it out to break down the gluten. And then again going in with the heel of my palm, pressing it down. This is the chickpeas, and see how they're boiling away. You see that? So for all the people that just joined in, I know you can't smell anything, but this is our chana masala that we're just making, the pindi chane. And then this is the atta for the puri, or the dough for the puri that I'm making. So welcome, welcome everybody that's tuning in. Thank you so much for the hearts. Okay, now you'll see this dough is actually almost looking like cellulite, right? So we have to let this rest for a few minutes. And then we're going to knead it again to help the gluten to develop. Okay, so we're just going to let it on the side and add a little bit of oil. Just cover it really nicely. I know that the dough is done because look at my hands and look at the bowl. So the dough is done. But you see the texture of this, it almost looks like cellulite. So we have to just let it rest for a few seconds, and then we're going to get to it before we actually start kneading the puris. I'm going to cover this for a minute. Okay. Just cover it like that and put it on the side. If you have enough time and you can put your dough in the fridge before frying your puris, that would be really nice because that gives you really good puris. Okay. Now another trick. If you did not run some chickpeas through the blender, thank you Kamlesh ji. If you did not run the chickpeas through the blender, but you still want a little thickening in your gravy, so you can either grate a boiled potato and put it in here, or you can go in with a potato masher and just ever so slightly maybe in 2 or 3 places, just mash down the chickpeas, right? So they will kind of help to thicken your gravy a little bit. You don't want to overdo it because you definitely want to see the grains of the chickpeas. But the combination of the ghee with the spices, oh my God, it's just such a fabulous flavor profile. I cannot even begin to explain. It looks so good right now. Right, I'm going to allow this to cook a little more. I will taste this for seasoning because I just switched yesterday from Himalayan pink salt to sea salt. I just want to make sure it's salty enough. Right, let me just check that. Oh, it's perfect, man. It needs a little salt, and it also needs a little something that should be sour. So in order to do that, you can either go ahead and add some more pomegranate seed powder. I am going to go ahead and add this thing called chaat masala. So chaat masala is the umami or the MSG of Indian food, especially North Indian food. When you want that kick from something that's got a sour taste, and you want that kick where you want to put the next bite in your mouth after the next bite and you don't want to stop, you're going to put chaat masala. It is also the thing that gives a lot of Indian dishes, the street food, chaats and everything, it gives it a very characteristic taste. Right? So a little more coriander powder, a little more this. I'm just going to let it simmer. Now you saw as soon as I broke down the chickpeas, you see how this bubbling is getting thicker? Because it instantly thickens the sauce. So you don't need any cornstarch, you don't need any slurry. This is automatically going to start thickening up. And some people also like to add tamarind paste to this for that sourness. That's really great too. I do have some tamarind chutney in the fridge which I might add at a later date. Kamlesh ji is saying that I wish I could be there to taste it. It looks so good. You know, it smells incredible. And yes, I wish you could all be here. Just going to add a little cilantro and let this simmer away. I will add some more ginger julienne. Now this is always served with like raw onions or achar on the side. That's pretty much how it's served. Okay, so this is going to do its thing. Now I'm going to start working on frying the puris. I will fry one puri just to show you because my family is not here, so no one's eating right now. But I'll fry one puri just to show you guys what it should look like. I'm actually going to move this to the back burner so y'all can see how we get the oil prepped for the puris. In the meantime, I will also show you what the corn on the cob is looking like. I will share with you some frying techniques for the puri, and I'm going to use light olive oil for my puris, okay? Oh, you love my spice? Well, you know, this is actually available on my website. If you go to queenscurrykitchen.com, you can buy the spice box. It comes with a stainless steel spoon. This is one of my spoons from my Chana Masala. So it comes with a spoon, it comes with a cover. You can buy it loaded or you can buy it without the spices. If you want to put your own spices, like let's say you're Chinese or you do a lot of Mexican food or you don't make Indian food, you can put a little bit of whatever you have so that all of your big quantity of spices don't need to come out of the closet or come out of the cabinets and get exposed to moisture and air and lose their potency. So just take out whatever you need on the daily, use it and then refill it as you need it, okay? So I think it's Nance. No, Hakuna Matata. Okay, so yes, so this is on my website. You can head over to the website. It's queenscurrykitchen.com. If you don't want to leave this live and go, I totally understand. Just send me a PM or send me a heart or something in the private message. I will send you a link to the website so you can always catch up with it later, okay? All right, now I always fry my puris with olive oil. My mom fries them with ghee. My mother-in-law fries them with canola or corn oil. So it really depends on what your family uses. But traditionally, the oil in this frying pan should be so high that the puri should get submerged. Now, I don't do that because then it renders the oil useless. And then what do you do after that, right? So I always use a judicious amount of oil, but then I make sure that it's hot enough and it's high enough so that my puris will get some space to go under, okay? So I'm going to turn on this stove in the back so that the chana can keep simmering away. We're not completely done with how it needs to look. I will share some puri rolling techniques with you while the oil is getting hot. So if you're ready for that, drop me a heart and say like, let's make some puris. Okay. So for making puris, you don't need any special equipment. You certainly do need a rolling pin or a rolling board. I'm going to use my cutting board today. Thank you for all the follows. Oh my God, you guys are so sweet. Thank you for following. Definitely keep your notifications on, so whenever I'm going live next, let me know. If there's anything specific that you want to learn in Indian cooking that you want me to do on the live, definitely drop it in the comments or send it to me in a DM so that I will start adding it to the list of lives that I have to do. Like I said, I'm really trying my best to do more Facebook lives and TikTok lives so that I can be with you guys and share more information with you. It's kind of something that I've been slacking on lately, but I'm really making a firm resolve to kind of catch up and not be so absent from TT and FB. All right. Okay. So look at the dough now. After it's rested for those few minutes, you see how it's not like cellulite, but it's very pliable. It's also super moist, right? So you need to have just enough moisture in your dough so that I do make gulab jamun, but I'm really not that much of a dessert chef. I do more of savory stuff, but I think I will have to give it a try. There is a gulab jamun version that people do that they make with white bread. I may just have to do that one for you. Yeah. They make gulab jamun from white bread. They also make gulab jamun from semolina. There's all kinds of interesting variations nowadays. Oh, do you guys want to see the corn on the cob before I get into making the puris? Just let me know. Drop it in the comments below. And let me know if you want to see the corn on the cob first or do you want to make the puris first, whatever you guys are in the mood for. Okay. So this oil is nice and hot. I'm just making a log out of this. Right? And basically you can also do it by rolling it on your board. Okay, the puri first. Sherry is hungry. Sherry, that's my daughter's name, Sherry. So Sherry is hungry. She's like, no, let's do the puris first. And let's get this party started. Okay, Sherry, you got it, sweetie. Let's do this. Okay, so just make a smooth log. And see, the more you roll out with the gluten acting up and really coming into its full power, you'll actually see how smooth this becomes. There's like, remember that texture that we had before? You see how smooth this is? And this has all the masalas in it. It's got whole wheat flour. It's got salt. It's got cayenne pepper or paprika, whatever you put in. If you like garlic, you can even, yes, we can do samosas. Absolutely. I get the samosa request a lot. So definitely I'll do the dal samosa and the veg. I actually have some things for the dal samosa in my fridge right now, but I'm not going to make it today. I'll definitely do the vegetable samosa. And I'll show you the easy one so that you don't have to go crazy about, how to fold it. We will do it with either puff pastry sheets or we will do it with wonton wrappers. And I will show you the easiest way to make samosas at home without going nuts as to how to get the triangle shape, right? So I'm the queen of hacks. Okay, so this is nice and smooth. What we are going to do is we're going to snap off little tiny balls like this. I'm just going to fry 2 for now. And then I'll put the rest of the dough away. And sometimes your first puri will not puff up because that's going to help you to judge the temperature of the oil, whether you rolled it properly or didn't roll it properly. All of those things happen in the first couple of puris. So don't be disheartened. Sometimes even the most seasoned cooks, like even my puris, will sometimes not fluff up, and that's fine. They're still good to eat, right? So you're going to take it in your hand and you will put a little gentle pressure, but stretch your fingers and keep the palm intact and then give it a gentle pressure. So it'll come out looking like a disc, and then press it. So it'll come out looking like a disc, right? Now you're going to, also when you make puris, try not to dip this into the dry flour because that tends to burn in the hot oil and then it makes your oil even more useless, right? So we have this. I'm just going to dip this right here. You can just take a bowl or just put 1 drop of oil from your oil dispenser. I do this all the time, so I'm not afraid of anything in the kitchen per se. Okay, so the little oil that goes on top helps you to roll them out without sticking to anything, right? Okay. Hello, William. Where you been? It's been a while. You came right at the time when we're making puris, okay? So this is what the disc looks like. Press it. You may not get it round the first time. Don't be disheartened. You roll it back and forth, right? It's not like pie making. You know how in pie making you just go in one direction, then you pick up and you go. This is not like that. You go back and forth, then you flip it 90 degrees. Then you go back and forth a few times. And you see, it's not going to move. It's going to stay still, but it's going to expand. Back and forth, again 90 degrees, back and forth, 90 degrees, back and forth. Also, the push should be lighter than the pull. So when you push it gently, pull it a little harder, so then the edges will not be raw and it will be evenly thick all around. Okay? So give it a gentle roll and then a tight pull. Slight push, tight pull. Slight push, tight pull. Slight push, tight pull. Okay? And you'll see that it will maintain its round shape. Yeah? Hey Sharon! You want to eat some Poori chane? There you go. Alright, so this is ready. You just let it sit there. You start on another one. Again, back and forth, 90 degrees, back and forth, 90 degrees, back and forth, 90 degrees. When it gets to a certain shape and you don't want it to expand too much, then you start working on the sides. You give it a gentle push and a tight pull. Flip, gentle push, tight pull. Gentle push, tight pull. Okay? So then that's how you know that it's evenly thick. So I'm just going to bring it up to the camera. You can see it's very even all around. You see this? So I've been doing this for almost 25 years. I'm not saying that you'll get to this level, but try it. It's not that hard. Okay, now how do we test if the oil is hot enough? We're going to take a little piece of dough. And we are going to pinch some dough and drop it into the oil. It should come to the top. It takes a minute. That means it's not quite ready yet. You are going to use one of these spider thingies. And then there's also like the Indian slot and spoon that we use a lot. So I'll show you both. But you need those to keep the oil out, right? And then this is another pinch. I turned up the heat just to increase the heat on the puris. It still takes a couple of seconds. It should almost immediately spring to the top. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's done. So by the time you count to 3, it should just come to the top, and that's when you know it's good. I am going to get my box ready in which I'm going to put all my puris. Right? Because usually you roll them in a batch and then you fry them all together. So you don't really roll them one at a time, one at a time. It's not like rotis. So you just roll, you make them out and you put them here. And then, so this is my pretty roti box. You can see this is from India. I had it custom made. And I use it for my rotis and I use it for my puris. If anyone wants to know more about this, just drop me a DM. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start frying the puris. Like I said, if your puri does not fluff up the first time, don't be disheartened. It happens all the time. It could be several things. Maybe the dough is not right. Maybe the oil is not the right temperature. So put in the puri and then keep it submerged in the oil. Don't let it come up, right? Keep it submerged or then baste it with the hot oil, right? The more you baste, the more it gets surrounded by oil. So when our elders and when our mothers-in-laws say that you should have enough oil, so the puri should dunk under, basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to tell you to surround the puri with hot oil on all sides so that it'll fluff up and puff up. But instead of using 10 times the oil, I just use lesser oil, but then I baste it. So it pretty much does the same thing, right? You'll see as it fries, it's going to come to the top, right? And then you're just going to keep on basting it. I'm going to use this. I'll also show you when this comes out, I'm going to show you how it's not going to have oil stuck to the body of it. And the reason why we're able to avoid that is because we put oil inside when we were making the dough, right? So the reason my puri did not fluff up is there's like a little tiny hole that it got from the cumin seed. I can see that. So I'm just going to remove this. So if you don't want any seeds or any texture in your puris, then you can always add cumin powder, garlic powder, whatever it is. Okay. I'm going to let this puri rest. It's time to put in the next one. Leave it in there. Give it a show it some love. You have to be very light-handed and very gentle with these because they can crack and break. So just be very gentle so that you'll be able to give them the love that they deserve. As it is, they're floating in hot oil. Like, how miserable can their life be? And then they're going to get eaten by you. So show them some love while they're in there. You see how this one fluffed up? Now, if my oil had been up to here, it would have fluffed up on its own without any help from me. There you go. Okay? So this is how it fluffs up. You give it a quick flip. Oil is not hot enough. That's why they're not. Yes, there are many reasons why they may... it's almost like making fry bake. Yes, there may be many reasons why it doesn't puff up. It could be that the dough is not proper. It could be that the oil is not enough, or maybe it's not hot enough. It could be both of those reasons, right? So you just take this out and you drain the excess oil on the side. Thank you so much for your hearts. I appreciate that. Well, if you have enough oil to the top, Vijeta, then the puri will automatically sink to the bottom and then you don't need to baste it. I don't like to put too much oil in my pan because then I don't want to waste that oil. So I sometimes even fry my puris in a frying pan, right? So if your oil is up to here, automatically the puri will sink down. It'll be surrounded by hot oil and then you don't need to baste it. So that's my hack for not using or throwing too much oil. Now you can see these puris, there's no oil that's stuck to the top of the body of the puri, right? It's a very fresh looking light puri. The reason for that is because we had already created the short crust before we actually, no, I'm okay. I don't need to buy more pans. I have way more pans than I need. We have 5 restaurants and I teach cooking. So I think I have way more pans and way more things in my kitchen. I'm actually trying to downsize my kitchen and get rid of some stuff. I really don't believe in buying too many things. It's just getting crazy in my kitchen. Right? But thank you for the suggestion. I'm really not trying to buy more stuff. Okay, so the puris are ready. Let me show you back what the chana is looking like after it's been simmering for a while. So I can show you. Oh my God, this smells incredible. Okay, so you can see like the oil has come. You see this ghee that's come to the top? So you know that your chana is now ready. Okay, so it's time to serve up these pretty puris with this chana. Let's find a nice pretty plate to do that in and we can get this party started. Okay. How about we do this? I always like to plate in pretty things because it's just nice to eat with your eyes. Okay, I'm just gonna put the chickpeas right over here. Ta-da! And some of the sauce or the gravy. Let me just turn off the stove. You definitely want to go in there and drizzle some sauce on top. Right? Juicy, nice, and then of course clean your plate. Gonna add my puris to this, and then of course there's something called cilantro, which you can never have enough of. So let's put that. Have a little cilantro here. And I'm going to put some ginger juliennes, which have run away from me and hiding in the back. Okay, so this is our puri chana for today. All done. Right? We are all done. This is our Indian breakfast brunch, most popular, most requested. If you like a chana masala recipe that's not so conventional but yet easy to replicate, head over to my website, queenscurrykitchen.com. The recipe is a free download that can come to your inbox immediately, so definitely take the time to download that recipe. Here is the chana masala that we made today for anyone that wants to take a picture. Thank you, thank you. Yes, Camille, thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words. That's really sweet of you. Now, don't go anywhere because remember we had that corn on the cob that was sitting somewhere. So that is calling our name. I'm going to bring that back and I'll show you what it looks like from the air fryer. Okie doke. Are you ready? Okay. All right, so this looks really, let me get a plate for this as well. Okay, here is our corn on the cob from the air fryer. Thank you. Yeah, this is our corn on the cob. All the spices from the taco seasoning are really, you see the charring at the edges. It's really nice and well cooked. Now to this, I'm going to add cilantro. If you want to add butter, you can absolutely add butter. If you want to add some cheese, you can add some cheese. Hey, you never know. And this is what I have. Movie theater popcorn butter. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of this. Just a couple of drops, right? You can add melted butter, you can add ghee, you can add garlic butter. Whatever rocks your boat, whatever makes you smile, add that. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little chaat masala. That's because I'm Indian, right? And what is life without some chaat masala? Yes, it cooked beautifully, and this was my first time actually making it in the air fryer. So I'm super proud of how it turned out. It was just so easy, did not need any supervision, and it came out really, really good. So I'm extremely proud of myself for making it happen. And I'm sure my daughter, when she comes back from work, she's going to be very thrilled. So this is our corn on the cob that we did today in the air fryer. You can also try it. For those of you that are just tuning in, we did 375 degrees for 12 minutes, and then we flipped it at 6 minutes. Then again, we cooked for another 6. I wanted them to be a little bit charred on the edges, so I went ahead and did another 3 minutes, right? So this is our corn on the cob. These are our 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually did 4 recipes in this live, so I know it took a lot of patience for you to stick around with me, but we made the smoothie with all of the superfoods and the vegetable and the fruits. We also did the chickpea curry, and we did the poories from scratch, and we did corn on the cob. Yes, thank you. It really looks good. It smells really good. I can't wait for my family to try it. So I'm actually very much looking forward to serving this to them when they get home tonight. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for joining me today on my page. If you have not followed this page, take a minute and follow Queen's Curry Kitchen. If there's anything that you need me to make on the live, definitely send me a DM or PM. If there's a recipe that you're stuck with and you're like, oh, well, I wish I knew I could do something with it, but I don't know how to do it, just send me a DM. I'm super accessible. I answer questions almost immediately. And I'm also on Instagram under Indian Food Queens. My TikTok is Queen's Curry Kitchen. Facebook is Queen's Curry Kitchen. And so is YouTube. If you missed anything that you saw here, this video will go up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So you should be able to catch it there. I know lives can be a little bit elusive. So there is a YouTube page that is actually going to be the backup for this, and you'll be able to catch all of this action there. If you want to take a class with me, again, all of the information is on the website. There's a class for you, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or an advanced level cook in the kitchen. There is definitely a class for you. I teach Indian style Chinese, Indian Tex-Mex, Indian Thai, whatever you want to learn, you can learn. You don't have to be plant-based, you don't have to be vegetarian. I teach all different kinds of food. I do not cook with beef. So other than that, if there's any recipe that you want to learn and you don't see it in the class listings, just drop me an email or send me a DM and say, hey, this is what I want to learn, but I don't see it. Can you teach me that? Or is there a class that you can do for this, right? So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for all the love, for the hearts and the stars. I will be back again sometime this week, maybe tomorrow, to do more lives. I've been getting requests about doing the chai from our chai masala that we sell on our website. So I will make a chai live on the feed on TikTok sometime tomorrow morning. Stay tuned, keep the notifications on so that you'll get notified when I'm live next. Until then, be blissful and flavorful, and do not forget to enjoy your life. It's really getting warm out there, so get out there, enjoy your life, and thank all the people that make it so beautiful. Take good care. Bye now.